Okay. Look at this lovely weather we're having here in Colombia. This is real weather this morning. So this could be really interesting. Ignore the ATIS. It's actually not... It doesn't match the game anyways. I'll have to do some research into how to get that happening. Let's see if we can get this puppy started. I've got a new cockpit livery here, so it's all like black now instead of that light gray, blue. And I quite like the... the dark better. We also changed our call sign to Citation Foxtrot Charlie Mike. Let's see. I do not remember much about this. It's been like a day. I know we need the battery. And we need avionics to dispatch so that we can get the FMC going. Let's go initialize our position. Let's go do our flight plan. And I need to fix something in the flight plan because for some reason it always inserts one additional waypoint on our arrival, on our approach, which is weird. It's not in the actual flight plan, but it appears in here. So first of all, let's clear this discontinuity. Oh, there's the lightning already. And QNV6 is not necessary. Good. Let's get an engine going here. Winds are actually 2995 knots. As they are in the game. Runway is wet. V1's... Okay. Let's check if we've got charts going here. There's the airport chart. Awesome. Oh, that's good. We're not that far away this time from our actual runway. So we'll get back to the chart here in a minute. Left engine going. Get the right engine started.
Attention, please. At this time, please comply with the illuminated seatbelt and no smoking signs. Thank you.
Okay, let's toggle over away from ATIS to ground. Citation Foxtrot Charlie Mike radio check. Awesome. This thing doesn't have windshield wipers, does it? I guess that's alright. What else do we need to do? What else do we need to do? Our flight plan, I believe, is set. Let's check our departure real quick. That's not it. That is correct. We did our takeoff performance setup already. Our arrival should be fine as well. DivF, yeah. So we're all good there. Avionics switch is on climate control. We can set that to normal. Passenger light safety button is on. Trims. Let's check our trim for takeoff here a little bit. Get it moved there. That looks good. Flight controls. We'll go outside for that. Just have a quick look. I always like that. I'm hitting my little mouse tray. Rudder is working. That's good. We are going to need some pushback from the folks ahead of us here. Our flaps are fine. Engine only anti-ice. Well, we'll probably want to turn that on when we get off in the air. Maybe when we get takeoff. Citation, Foxtrot, Charlie, Mike, ready to copy IFR clearance. For 213. Let's get pushback. The weather is terrible, but I'm sure we're going to get above the weather at 34,000 feet. But I wanted to stick to live weather. And just for a change of pace, because, you know, sometimes you want to have the crappier weather. They're really not good at getting these guys to where the actual wheel is. It's interesting. There it goes. We don't need to be pushed back too far. Just enough so that we can turn around. We'll check the charts in a second where... Actually, check it now. Runway 31 left is literally directly behind us, I think. I think that's got the airplane actually the wrong way around. So we are not far at all. Citation Foxtrot Charlie Mike ready to taxi. Don't. Taxiway Charlie is... Who knows where that is, really? I mean, we just have to go right behind us, I think. So we're just going to do that. Let's see how that goes. Oh, no. Oh, shoot. Shoot. I forgot something. Alright. I forgot to set the controls away from... I was last flying a single engine. So I need to switch back to our 2-engine jet. Resume. So that, you know, our buttons actually do what they're supposed to do. We can turn the heats on, that's fine. Oh, look at these lights. Aren't these pretty? That is very cool. Okay, do we have... There we go, we've got throttle control now. Excellent. That would have quickly become very awkward. So there's terrain. Especially if I would have accidentally shut off the second engine because I had no throttle mapped to it. This cockpit livery, I'm sorry to say, but this looks so much better than the default one. It looks so much more modern having it black. I don't know why that is, but that's the one thing I really much liked about the Longitude. Was the... I mean, I like the Garmin displays too, but this Proline stuff in the CJ4, in the working title mod, is just, it's so good. Especially with the charts. It's hard not to want to fly this jet. Trim is set, flaps are set. Don't need the chart anymore. Let's check out checklist real quick. For takeoff, exterior light, taxi lights off, landing lights on, brakes, applicable parking brake, brakes, flight instruments check, ice protection. Let's get the all the ice protection on because it is raining pretty hard, so I don't know if that's actually the correct thing to do or not, but let's play our passenger briefing for takeoff here. I wish that they would default this to the short version so I don't have to scrolling with this sometimes a bit of a struggle.
May I have your attention, please? We will be taking off shortly. Please turn off all portable electronic devices, stow tables,
Radar as required.
and loose articles. Ensure your seat is in the upright and outboard position. Extend your headrest and fasten your lap belt and shoulder harness. Thank you.
Don't know why it never remembers this. I feel like it should save these settings, but it doesn't seem to do that for me these days. Okay, let's get ourselves lined up. Citation Foxtrot Charlie Mike, ready for takeoff, runway 31 left. So we are going to climb to 22,000 feet. We'll engage flight level change when we get up there. For now, we'll use takeoff mode. So that is set. Ice protection, pitos on, external lights, ready for takeoff. Okay, here we go. Speed's alive. So V1. Rotate. It felt heavy. What's going on there? That was weird. Alright, that was a little odd. We are looking good. Let's gauge flight level change. Wow, we're at 12,000. Well, I guess we started at like 8,000 feet. Oh, really?
Altitude.
Why are we still climbing? I don't know what the autopilot is doing.
Autopilot.
It's really odd. Like, climb. I mean, don't climb. Okay, well, we're past that now, so that was weird. It's like I had to...
Altitude.
We are past that point now, I believe. Bravo Oscar 549er. Oh, come on. This is crazy. How is it climbing at this speed and that... It's like a rocket. Holy cow. We're gonna ignore that because we're about to pass that waypoint anyways. Like literally now. Takeoff power was insane. Blue skies. Oh, 200, right.
Altitude. Altitude.
I see. It is completely... Alright. Hey, Rumpo. I'm struggling right now with it. I don't know, for whatever reason it's not doing what it should be doing. The autopilot is, I think it's fine now. ATC was being all kinds of messed up. It would tell me, like, climb to 20,000 feet, and then it's like, stay under 14,000, but climb to 20, but stay under 14 until this waypoint. So, well, I mean, and it is just the ATC thing, like, it has no actual impact on anything. I just ignored half of their instructions. I don't mind so much when they're telling me to go higher. It's when they tell me to go lower, then I think is you know, because there's no harm being too high. I just took off, so I just left Colombia, and I'm headed to Ecuador, and I'm flying with real weather, which means it was an absolute shit show on the ground. Up here, I'm getting above the clouds, so it's going to be nicer. The autopilot is really struggling, trying to keep me on track, though, for some reason. Or this is my fault. Oh yeah. You are not. Say something just to confirm. Yeah, no, you're not. I can hear you, but... Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Altitude.
Just realized that ATC is probably not on stream either, but that's okay. You don't have to worry about spoilers if that's what you're worried about. Right. Oh, really? Like dance with it? So I had to, I went through a little bit of a trouble to like downgrade the Oculus software on the computer. Because, you know, they do automatic updates, right? And you can't like opt out of the updates, it just updates it. But somebody came up with like a way to, like, here are the files from 2 versions ago, and here's a way to sort of keep it from automatically updating, because the latest version had introduced this really strange white flashes in VR in Flight Simulator, which is really distracting. It's as if somebody like flashes you with a camera like every 10 seconds or so. Super annoying. And also the performance was much better on the previous version, so now back on the previous version it seems to run a fair bit better. Uh-oh. It's not Greg, is it? Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I would imagine with all of these, there's always a few that are busted. Oh, I also don't have the yaw damper on, do I? Oh, I do. It's on.
Altitude.
So I'm basically just flying above solid clouds for the next 45 minutes or so. And it is cold up here. It's all right. Yeah, I figured I'd install the latest NVIDIA drivers like on Tuesday or something, because I might still go for a flight tomorrow. And Tuesday is Destiny Day, right? So worst case, like Destiny's usually pretty, like there's usually not any issues. So that seems like a good day to do that. And I think they've been out for like a week or two, so yeah. I figure if I give it about a week now before I install the new driver, if there are any issues, I would have heard about it. To what? Yeah. Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, even after the embargo? Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's funny. I guess better that way than the other way around. Can I actually put your voice on stream? Well, I think I do, because I think it's tied to the ATC one right now, and I didn't really think that through. Okay. As long as, yeah. So you are now, so you're aware.
Cool.
I need to switch over the audio device that I have the ATC going to, but I don't want to do that in the middle of a flight. That's right, I can sit in the back. I'm going to go sit in the back of my airplane again, if I can remember where I put that button. Showcase, back seat, yeah. I changed the interior of this airplane too. It is now black leather.
24 line, JetBlue 38, thank you.
It's a $10 million airplane, that's all.
Reduce speed 200 knots.
200 knots, Delta 573.
Happy Sunday to you too, BJ. It is nice weather up here. It's terrible weather down below. And I was literally just about to check if the chat was working or not, but it is. We took off from Colombia and it was pouring rain, and we couldn't see anything until about 20,000 feet. So I'm sure there were mountains that we just barely avoided, but we put our faith in ATC and it kind of worked out. Landing in Ecuador is going to be scary because I think the weather there is just as crappy as here. The one benefit about flying at like 34,000 feet or higher is that the weather is always nice up here.
And Delta 573, contact 1975.
1975, Delta 573, good day.
Bye.
So I started watching streams about people who do this virtual air traffic control stuff for VATSIM. I watched a guy yesterday who was controlling airspace over St. Louis, I think, for people playing Flight Simulator. It's kind of interesting to see that side of things. I don't know if it makes me more or less comfortable to actually do that. Yeah, BJ, I've started flying the jet at proper altitudes. This trip is about 380 nautical miles or something, so we're flying at 34,000 feet. So it's not even as high as it could go, but given the distance, I have a chart somewhere that was provided by, I guess, real CJ4 pilots, and I think it said something between 300 and 500 nautical miles. They fly between like 30 and 40,000 feet. So I just kind of picked a spot in between there that seemed appropriate. We're flying due west, so it's an even number. Yeah, I think that's what people do use it for training. I want to try VATSIM one of these days, but I also don't want to do it until I'm like super comfortable with the aircraft, because especially after takeoff and during landing, you know, you gotta do what ATC tells you, and it's fine for the. I can easily ignore the game if I want to. A little different when you've got a real human being telling you what to do. But the good thing about flying at this altitude is also we get to take full advantage of this speed. And we're flying at Mach 0.744 right now, which is ground speed of 451 knots. Which is going to make some of these flights in South America a little bit quicker, because some of them, the next few are going to be longer distances. I think, I forget where we go after this, but we got to get into Chile and Argentina and Brazil. Brazil is humongous. Yeah, I actually talked to a guy the other day who does a lot of VATSIM flying, and he said a good way to do it is to pick a non-busy time and a non-busy airspace, and just go for like a short flight in a plane you're really comfortable with, at an airport, at a destination you're really comfortable with. So I'll probably do something like that at some point out of like the Vancouver International Airport and fly to like, I don't know, Kelowna, which is like a 40-minute flight, something nice and short. Just to get the hang of it. And there is usually somebody covering the Vancouver center at various times. The nice thing is there's a website and some apps you can actually check and see what the coverage is. So Rumpo, what's it going to take to get you flying again? Rumpo.
Hello.
What's it going to take to get you flying again?
I don't know.
Shared cockpit?
No, I think I would do it. It's one of those games where, and this happens every once in a while, where I almost enjoy watching it more than I do.
Oh, fair enough.
So I don't. They're very like it's the kind of game like I don't like
maintain 200 knots until Mavic. After Mavic, comply with the approach. Contact
and it's
1975.
something that takes like an
1975
intense
after
amount
Mavic,
of
comply with the approach,
study
American
and
2546.
whatnot. Like I don't just want to hop in there and just zip around. Like I did that a little bit, and I tried to learn a little bit, and I did learn a little bit. But I wasn't even scratching the surface of it. And
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just one of those where I don't know if I want to dig deep into that.
That voice is Rumpo, BJ. From Shack News, and way back when, what was it? What was your Battlefield podcast called? I still have the
Chatter Online?
Battle Chatter. Yeah, that's right. And Push to Talk, of course. We did Push to Talk. That's probably where BJ remembers your voice from.
Yeah, that's right.
American 2547, descend out to 3000 and maintain 250 knots. Center 13,000, 250 knots, American 254.
Push to talk was fun, but I think at some point we ran out of things to talk about. Or maybe I was just being too grumpy or it was too much effort, I don't know.
I think it was pretty much a three of us thing.
American 2547, contact approach control 121.2 today.
21 to, thanks, American 254.
All of the above, that's correct, yes. Just sit in the back seat of this jet here and pull up a virtual laptop and start browsing the internet. I'm going to need a couple more 3090s, I think, to make that happen.
Yeah.
Control Delta 387 in the Barrel 1 Papa 35.
Delta 387, good afternoon, rated contact via Barrel 1 Papa 10,000 feet, expect ILS Amy Silver runway.
Delta 387, right?
Hi, JD. Yeah, getting a new PC, that would be great. We got to do some multiplayer flying at some point, BJ. I feel like we should arrange that.
Just went through this whole guide on how to do this thing in Hitman, and I walked over and like completely screwed up how to do it, and it just worked out perfectly.
I do appreciate that about games where you can fail and still be successful.
Well, you're supposed to go over and like distract this guard, and I got too close to them in these bushes, and they were like, "What's in the bushes?" And they just walked over to the bushes, and I choked one out and threw his body down, and the other goes, what did I just hear in the bushes?" And he walked over, I choked him out, and I'm like, "Well, that was a lot easier than the video." It worked out very well. It was good.
Once you get the new PC, you'll get some more flights, I'll let you know. Yeah, that sounds good. I'm looking forward to the bush flight next Thursday, Rumpo. I found a flight plan that somebody actually designed that basically, like, it starts in Jasper and heads west, but it basically flies through the Rocky Mountains, the Canadian Rockies, and follows like a river. So it should be very scenic.
24.1.
It goes to Revelstoke, which is kind of near where my parents actually live, and then from there I think we go on a second leg to keep going a bit further. So
That's super cool.
we're 133 nautical miles from our next waypoint, and then not much further until our actual approach.
Westjet 2599, good afternoon, climb unrestricted to flight level 340.
Climb unrestricted, flight level 340, Westjet 2599.
I'm very busy telling snipers to shoot melons and wine balls.
I probably could write something on what I use to fly and how I fly and all the tools I use, not just the physical hardware, but there's a lot of software involved that I use. I might actually write an article about that for Guide Stash.
That'd be very cool.
You know, just like some stuff for the hardware and some stuff around the software I use for planning a flight, and then some stuff that I use during the flight. I might
can
do
help
that.
you with that if you want.
Yeah.
Something like best, etc., etc.
Yeah. Because there's a lot out there, but like I found, because I'm relatively new to, well, I am new to flight simming. I mean, I've flown flight simulators in the past, but never seriously. There's a lot of stuff out there, but a lot of it is buried in like Reddit threads, or even worse, forum posts.
Yeah.
Like actual forums.
And climb to 340.
Yeah, and there's some really cool tools. Some of them free, some of them paid, but you don't stumble across them most of the time. So they're kind of hidden in a way, because people who are into flight simulators know about them, but people who are getting into them don't really find those. So the one challenge I have now is, so I use a website called fshub.io to log my flights. And it's really nice because I just run a little app and it tracks it as I fly them. And it creates what I really wanted was a nice Google map with lines drawn on it, right? Where it shows like this is where you've flown all over the globe. There's a new app like that called Volanta that is much more fancy looking. Like it looks really sleek, it integrates with VATSIM and stuff like that. Well, my problem is I've got like 30 flights on this one website, and there doesn't seem to be any way to like export those out and put them into the other one. And the whole point of it was to track all of my flights. And it's already I wish there was more, like, I wish that there was more of a universal format for this stuff that you could move around the various apps.
Right. I just screwed myself in this game.
There is a ton of legwork that new flyers might just quit due to the amount of time. Yeah, there is a lot of... It's funny because the flight sim itself gives you very little training.
There's a lot of opportunity for guys there.
Yeah, it's
like,
just...
I think like how to get started with Flight Simulator would be really good.
Mm-hmm.
Just the basics. Of, like, okay,
200
like,
knots.
you know,
200 knots, Delta 573.
down to like if you're using a controller, like, here's like just turn it on, man.
Yeah, and it seems like most of that knowledge currently resides in YouTube videos.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like how to use autopilot, for example.
Which you can credit by embedding the video. Like,
Yeah.
you make essentially the guy, well, here's how you do this, and this guy's got a really good video.
Because, I mean, autopilot is a huge part of Flight Simulator, and it's complex but easy once you get like 2 or 3 basic principles.
And Delta 573, contact 1975.
But you're never going to figure them out by just pushing buttons, because terrible things happen if you just start pushing buttons on the autopilot. The biggest thing I think people try is they get in the air and they hit the autopilot button and they're like, but nothing happens. And it's like, that's correct. Nothing happens.
I mean, I learned a little bit about autopilot. I was able to get it to like get some stuff done.
Yeah.
But not much. It was very hit or miss because I didn't know
I mean, there's basically 2 main principles, right? It's
190 American 2546.
left and right and up and down with the autopilot. And how do you make that happen? Like, how do you control where it goes and how it goes up and down?
Oh my god. Sorry. It's amazing. I just ordered a sniper to shoot the target, and I didn't know that it was contextual. I guess maybe contextual is not the right word. Situational. He pulled the trigger and her bodyguard walked in front of her and he smoked her bodyguard.
Oops.
And I'm like, oh, well, that's not what I wanted at all. Does that affect my rating? Oh yeah, it does affect my rating. And he just kept shooting though. He missed. So he just shot again and killed her. So he's like, fuck it, let's do it. I also realized, I just remembered yesterday that I wanted to record something.
Very good.
And I hit the
546,
record button
contact
and I
121,
left it
decimal
on. It was so damn long.
21,
It's got
decimal 2, American
big, so I just need to like find that. Yeah.
Yeah, BJ, it is really rewarding once you figure out some of these systems. It does feel pretty good.
That's 30 gigs.
Because there is like there is an actual learning element to this, and it does transfer kind of from small airplanes to larger airplanes, though it changes a lot. Do transitions fly other than a straight line, but the planning is actually really the most. It's actually pretty easy. Again, using some nice tools. One of the problems is that a lot of the programming of the autopilot inside the cockpits is really flawed in Flight Sim right now. It tends to cause a lot of crashes. It doesn't work so great. So you almost have to like do all the planning outside and load it in properly. Things get a little more dicey when you have to adjust things on the fly. Not because it's not possible to do, but because the sim seems to be really angry about it sometimes.
American 2546, maintain 200 knots until Mavic. After Mavic, comply with the approach. Contact 1975.
1975 after Mavic, comply with the approach, American 2546.
Oh, fuck. This game is... It was funny a minute ago now.
Surprised they don't get the code from autopilot. What do you mean by that? Like the actual... I think it's modeled pretty realistically, but I think it's just buggy.
I would like to see them... I do appreciate how it's so open about the way that you add mods to that game. Like how people can like add
American
their own little things to
2547,
it, but
descend out
I would like to see a little bit more
3000
base
and
support
maintain
for some
250
things, you know,
knots.
like
Yeah.
so that you can just turn it on and like the autopilot is going to work correctly. I'm going to save this game right now, John. Because I'm about to do something that's probably going to get like a random NPC shot in the back of the head.
Yeah, I would assume that the real-life autopilot stuff is less buggy than the one in the sim.
Yeah, because the planes are still in the air.
Yeah. And yeah, all the mods are nice, but it's also like every time that there is a sim update, I worry because it might break a whole bunch of stuff, right? If you have a bunch of mods that you rely on or like. Fortunately, I'm only using like a handful of them that I kind of rely on, and really just like one or two for each of the 2 or 3 planes that I like to fly. But I think next week there's a sim update coming, which is supposed to, like, I think a lot of the mods right now are actively trying to fix issues with the core game. So whenever they actually release an update to fix some of those themselves, some of the mods then break things or make them worse, right?
Yeah.
So. And unfortunately, they always release their stupid updates on Thursdays, which is when I fly for Shack News Thursday nights. So.
Yeah, I noticed that, and I was like, man, that's probably.
It's bad timing. Yeah, I wish they'd do it on a Tuesday or something. But it just means that earlier in the day on Thursdays at like lunchtime or something, I go in and just have a quick poke around to make sure everything still seems to be functional.
Well, work's done for the day.
Yeah.
One of the things they did in this game, it appears, I don't know for sure, is that you used to, if you were wearing like some sort of a guard outfit, you could carry any gun you wanted. Like you could be wearing like a street guard outfit and a sniper rifle. And people would be like, yeah, that adds up, right? And it was a little weird because they, you know, like it's a sniper rifle. Like why, like you saw a cop walking down the street with a giant sniper rifle, like in the street, like in his uniform. It's odd. So now they've kind of adjusted that where like it's more depending on the guard outfit. Like you can't just carry anything, you know. But they introduced the briefcase so that you could store your weapon in the briefcase and walk around.
Right. Thanks for the follow, Ellison
Control, Delta
Key.
387, give the Barrel 1 Papa 35.
Delta 387, good afternoon, rated contact via Bar 1 Papa 210,000. Expect ILS Amy Silver runway.
Well, I see our top of the scent on the MFD already, so we're not that far away from it. It'll be interesting to see what they clear us down to. We're going to give VNAV another try. VNAV is really a really cool feature, but it seems really wonky. And again, this is one of those things that does not work. It's just not implemented in the core game. So the mod adds it in, and it does a pretty good job of it, but it would be nice if some of this stuff was just working right out of the box. Then again, I think that they will just keep adding some of that functionality over the years. Literally years, because flight sims tend to stick around for like decades. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? The thing I always forget to do. Turn on moving maps in Navigraph. There we go. You can actually see on the little mini map where we are in our flight. And you can see that we're not that far away.
I've been knocking this guard out with a soda can and stuffing him in a locker, and there's two guards having a conversation 2 feet beside me, and they have never seen it one time. I've done it like 10 times.
It's pretty funny.
They are just busy having their conversation, and it's good.
Okay,
like
so
they're not looking directly at me, but like in the peripheral, like there's a dude stuffing a dude in a locker, and they just don't.
Flight unrestricted, flight level 340, let's hit 2599.
So the airport in Quito, Ecuador is at 7,910 feet elevation. Good to know. I have a bad feeling that we're once again not able to see anything. I don't think you saw the last landing, Rumpo, but I went through a wall of clouds with terrain really, really close to me. It was a little frightening. And then I accidentally hit the takeoff button during the descent, which does exactly the opposite of what you want it to do.
Yeah, I would say so. It goes up.
It goes up and fast. And it's annoying because I didn't accidentally click it, but like the VR, the mouse jumped. It does that sometimes in VR. So it jumped from whatever I was about to click on to the takeoff button. I wish that there was actually a guard on that button.
Yeah, Blue 38, Blue 38 with you, 14-6, climbing flight level 180.
Oh, what
To
is
Blue
the
38, flying to flight level 340. I'm turning for flight direct to Bravo,
I just
Takeoff.
walked the guard into,
And,
like I
climb
took
to
away the slippery
340.
one sign, and he stepped in the puddle and slipped and fell and hit his head, knocked himself out. But his feet are halfway up the wall, like they're propped up against the wall, so it's pretty funny to try to do this one. If you take away the slippery one gut sign in this game, it is game over if somebody walks through there.
It's amazing. It's like the only thing in the world keeping these people safe.
Yeah. What I don't like is that when you take a screenshot with Ansel, if you leave the grid on, it just leaves the grid on. I'm like, who wants the grid on?
Mm.
Yeah.
Citation Foxtrot Charlie Mike descend and maintain flight level 280.
Descend and maintain flight level 280. Citation Foxtrot Charlie Mike.
Interesting that they gave us that before. You know if there are iPad mods to use as your autopilot and radio similar to your hardware? There are.
Contact control 14811.
There are some apps for the
Yeah,
iPad.
Blue 38, thank you.
I believe it's actually web-based. Somebody built like a really cool open source freeware web interface tool that you could easily put on your iPad to control a lot, like the radios, the autopilot, a bunch of stuff. Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head what it's called, but I've seen it pop up on Reddit several times. Which is kind of nice, because like you don't have to have a bunch of expensive gear.
Reduce speed
I feel like
200
a yoke or a joystick are, they're kind of difficult to replace.
I guess
Well,
it depends on what your expectations are, right?
Yeah.
Like for myself, I spent like maybe 300.
On the joystick?
Yeah. Well, on whatever combo I have the
Yeah.
thrust.
I'll try to find it for you, BJ, too. But yeah, you got that, the X52 or whatever, right?
Yeah, I think so. I got the Hostas.
Yeah.
May I have your attention, please? The captain has turned on the seatbelt sign. Please fasten your seatbelt and shoulder harness at this time. Thank you.
And Delta 573, contact 1975.
1975, Delta 573, good day.
Bye.
Altitude.
Citation Foxtrot Charlie Mike descend and maintain flight level 220.
Descend and maintain flight level 220. Citation Foxtrot Charlie Mike.
6 door right, heading 190.
Right, 190, American 2546.
Alright, you put your seatbelt on, but you're not putting your cell phone away. That's fine. You can keep your cell phone out. It's interesting that we're being vectored down right now. We're not, not quite at the actual top of descent here. So ATC is a little bit ahead of us, which is probably fine, unless there are big mountains in our way, which I can't see. You never know. However, I have set up pilot to ATC that I've told it like I'm going to be descending at 2,000 feet per minute. So according to that, they should have the right calculations to make sure we don't bump into stuff. So the VNAV would have us going to 16,000 now, but I have a pre-selected altitude of 22,000, so it will cap us at that because that's what ATC gave us.
Contact 121.2.
21.2, American 2546.
This lady and I would like to hand some papers to. It's exciting.
Here come the clouds.
Oh, she's just on the inside of the house. She's upstairs.
And we have a pretty harsh turn coming up on that. It's just a total left turn and then a little hook at the end. Okay. Well, I guess we'll see how.
American 2546, maintain 200 knots until Mavic. After Mavic, comply with the approach. Contact 1975.
Well, this all works
after
out.
Mavic, comply with the approach, American 2546.
Hey, Sean. The game is always pretty. Yes, it is. It is really amazing. Even with the clouds. Like, the clouds are more amazing looking than not having clouds.
Altitude.
Sean, you're just catching us on our approach here into Ecuador.
Citation Foxtrot Charlie Mike altimeter 3021 at Mariscal Sucre International, descend and maintain 16,000 feet.
Altimeter 3021, descend and maintain 16,000 feet. Citation Foxtrot Charlie Mike.
2,000 and maintain
I just told his wife their husband was cheating on them.
Center 13,000, 250 knots, American 2546.
Pretty excited.
Citation Foxtrot Charlie Mike, contact Quito approach on 119.7. Have a nice day.
Approach on 119.7. Citation Foxtrot Charlie Mike.
Oh, I see. We haven't started doing VNAV yet because we're not at
Approach
this place where it's
Citation
calculated
Foxtrot
yet.
Charlie
Should
Mike at flight level 220.
take effect though any second here.
Citation Foxtrot Charlie Mike, good morning. Squawk 4213.
VPath, right? Come on, there you go.
Squawk 4213. Citation
Ecuador is the
Foxtrot
closest
Charlie Mike.
country to space? Really? What does that mean, Sean?
United 1063, reduced to 200 knots.
Is it because it's the highest altitude?
Okay, slow to 200 and clear the ILS number 2 for 5 right, United 1068.
This is due to the Earth not being a complete circle because it's bowed in the middle. Oh, alright. That makes sense.
May I have your attention, please? We will be landing shortly. Please turn off all.
I keep forgetting to set minimums. I don't remember how to do it. I think it's perf.
Return your seat to the upright and outboard
Citation Foxtrot Charlie Mike, altimeter 3021 at Mariscal Sucre International, cleared for the ILS approach to runway 18 at Mariscal Sucre International with the DevEv transition.
Altimeter 3021 cleared for the ILS approach to runway 18 with a DevEf transition. Citation Foxtrot Charlie Mike.
5,000, slow to 200 knots.
Okay, this should be interesting. We are on our V path, and we are up and cleared all the way to the airport. So I'm going to set that to about
220, the heading Copa 136.
to just below the airfield. So that should get us into, should keep us on V path all the way through.
Contact tower on 11855.
Tower, good day, United 1088.
Can't see anything out the window, but that's alright. If the instruments are doing what they're supposed to, we don't need to see anything. I do want to... Where was the minimum setup? Was it under approach? I should find that out. I thought that there was a way to get that.
Driver 1063, reduce to 160 knots, keep 160 feet flat.
Okay, slow to 160 and 160 to Plaza, United 1063.
There's a challenge in this level to light a fire pit.
Citation Foxtrot Charlie
Hold on.
Mike, descend via the DevEv transition to 10,300 feet.
Descend to 10,300 feet via the DevEv transition. Citation Foxtrot Charlie Mike.
I keep forgetting where to set the minimums. Oh, we got raindrops here. It's probably hard to see on the stream, but you can hear it.
Breaking 501, radar contact, descend to 2,000 feet.
You maintain 2,000 feet, American 501.
Well, we'll worry about that for the next flight. Can hear and see it. Good. Good, good, good. Sorry, I'm looking down at the instruments a lot because there's not much to see outside the airplane. I think you hear a rumpo in the background. That would be correct, Sean.
136.
You do.
Radar service terminated. Contact tower 118.55. Good day.
18.55, go for 136. Muchas gracias, mañana.
Jesus, not like a little bit of rain, like a freaking torrential downpour. Holy crap. Lightning strikes in VR are kind of terrifying.
Approach American 501, 5 right.
Roger, radar contact complete. JLA number 2 approach runway 5 right.
Sean says I lose a star due to rumpo noise contamination. 4 to 5 stars today. That's not bad. I'll take it.
Yeah, it's
The rain running up the window, the windshield looks really cool. He's been a problem passenger. I think the police will be waiting when we land. I don't know. I wouldn't trust the police in Ecuador.
No, I'm getting away from it.
Alright, VPath is still looking good. It's going to take us to 10,300, which is where ATC cleared us as well. And then 9,700 and 78.93. Okay. So if VPath... Nothing should stand in the way of us having a nice approach here. We've got the preloaded, the localizer needle, the ghost needle. So that's good. That's all set up. Term, I believe, means we're within 30 nautical miles of the airport.
Citation Foxtrot Charlie Mike, flow to 230 knots or less.
Wilco Citation Foxtrot Charlie Mike.
Let's see if we can actually slow to 230 or less.
Citation Foxtrot Charlie Mike, altimeter 3021 at Mariscal Sucre International, contact tower on 118.1. Today.
Altimeter 3021, tower on 118.1, citation Foxtrot Charlie Mike. Tower citation Foxtrot Charlie Mike inbound for ILS approach runway 18.
Citation Foxtrot Charlie Mike, good morning. Squawk 4213, continue ILS to runway 18, call when established on final.
Continue ILS to runway 18, will call when established on final. Citation Foxtrot Charlie Mike.
American 1053, back here runway via Delta on Alpha contact ground, 141.9er. Good day.
Just turned. We are now tuned into the localizer. That's excellent. That's exactly what we want. V-path should... We're on glide slope now. This should take us further down to 9700.
T3 cross runway Bravo, expedite crossing the runway on Alpha, contact ground control 121.9er.
Okay, that's good. Let's give it a little bit of flaps. The rain is... It's actually a good thing that I can't see anything, because the rain is terrifying. Yeah, it's captured this time. I think we're good on that front this time, BJ. I actually kind of like the terrain now, because it's, even though it's not synthetic... Oh geez, there it is already. Okay. That, like, we came out of the clouds and boom, there is a runway ahead of us. We really need to slow down.
Landing gear.
We come out of the clouds and boom, there it is.
Delta 387, 5 mile final. Delta 387, wind 080
Officer full
degrees,
gear
15
is
runway.
down, showing 3 green.
07 clear to land, Delta 387.
Citation Foxtrot Charlie Mike winds at 018.
I was just going to request clearance for landing, but I guess they've
runway 18.
cleared us because we got close enough.
Clear to land runway 18. Citation Foxtrot Charlie Mike.
Love it when a plan comes together. That is very true. This should be minimums.
Autopilot.
Autopilot disengaged. To land in a snowstorm. Yeah, I don't think they really have a snowstorm. Smooth landing. I'll take that. I don't know if I've ever had a smooth landing before.
Delta 900, now 080 degrees, 25, gusting 35, runway
I've had some
07,
perfect landings, but I think smooth is actually better. Didn't even need the speed brakes. We probably should have used them, but we didn't need them. But that's one of the problems about flying with no visibility, is that all of a sudden you come out of the clouds and it's like, boom, there's an airport there. You better be ready to land. Yeah, the clapping is from a little app called Landing Rate Monitor. That's also the one that tracks my flights into fshub.io. Again, like a cute little freeware tool that I just stumbled across, but it's really handy. Plus, it feels good to get applause when you've pulled off a good landing. Add some hecklers just for fun. It's probably just an audio file, Sean. If you want to record like some heckling for me, I could put it in there.
Southwest 122, runway 7, 080 degrees, 25 knots, altimeter setting 3000. We got gusting 35 knots. Report 5 miles.
One of the true experience in VR, you need to just get a crying baby. So put it in, someone on the plane's got a crying baby, and you just need to fly with that the whole time.
Citation Foxtrot Charlie Mike, ready to taxi to the gate.
Citation Foxtrot Charlie Mike, contact Quito ground on 121.72 for taxi clearance.
Ground on 121.72 for taxi clearance. Citation Foxtrot Charlie Mike.
Citation Foxtrot Charlie Mike, request taxi to parking.
Citation Foxtrot Charlie Mike sorry, no general aviation parking available at this airport.
Okay, how about a gate then? Citation Foxtrot Charlie Mike, request taxi to the gate.
Citation Foxtrot Charlie Mike sorry, no gate available at this airport.
They don't want us here. We're gonna go down and park near the helipad there. So, since we have this chart, and the charts are awesome, we're gonna use them. I was gonna say that I used to prefer the synthetic terrain instead of this stuff, which is like relative terrain. So like it's black when there is nothing above you, but then the stuff that's green and orange and red, as you can see there, is like higher than where you are. But I'm kind of starting to like it. Like once you get used to the fact that having nothing show up is a good thing, like black, just blank is good. Altitude, you're safe. It's actually kind of nice to have this because it becomes much more immediately obvious. It's like, okay, I gotta take care of that. The Rumpo, apparently they don't want you here at the airport. They're not giving us a gate or a parking spot. And Sean has decided that that is because of you.
Well, it's because I requested to be flown in, not at a runway, but like in the backfield.
Oh, I see. Yes. You should have requested that in writing before, because I forgot about that. You wanted like a...
Well, that's sort of the thing about this, though.
Secret airstrip.
You don't really request that stuff in writing.
It's probably true.
Well, you know, I'm gonna have to cause an explosion. It's unfortunate, but that's what's gonna happen. To open a door.
Right.
Well, I couldn't find crowbars.
Well, the frames definitely take a little bit of a hit with the rain coming down here, but it looks amazing. It actually looks cold and wet outside. Oh, and I see a couple of people in yellow. That means that that's where we're going to go park. Oh, they want us to come in that way? Alright.
I made this guy slip on a banana peel and he dropped a key. So we're good.
We'll actually park in front of this this person properly this time. So we'll go around. I do kind of like trying to follow the yellow lines on the taxiways. I may have to look into upping the number of other airplanes on the ground in VR. I think I turned that down quite a bit for performance reasons, but I wonder if I could turn it up a little bit to have a few more airplanes around. Okay, looks like we can take this spot right here. Yep. There, we're good. That parking brake on. And let's go shut her down. That was a pretty successful flight, actually.
Not a lot of, I mean, I didn't get smuggled where I wanted to get smuggled, so.
Still, safe landing is a safe landing.
Yeah, but now you gotta find a way to get me into the back of the truck.
Yeah. Thanks for stopping by, BJ and Sean, as well as some of the folks that were maybe new. Appreciate it. Have a good week. I might fly again tomorrow night, on Monday night. Otherwise, it will be definitely on Friday and next weekend. So, we'll figure it out. Take care of yourselves until then. Let's turn this thing off.
You streaming stuff?
Yeah, but I'm about to shut it off. Bye-bye, everyone.